Hello everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. Welcome to another episode of Mondays with Margaret. Today we are starting the last 5 books in the series, and I'm going to be talking about The Heart Goes Last, which was originally published in 2015, and this is Atwood's 5th speculative fiction novel. This book started out as a serial online, the Positron series, until Atwood's publisher was like, you should probably publish this as a novel. So the book is dedicated to 3 of Atwood's writer friends, who she has also paid tribute to in her non-fiction that we've already read. So first is English writer Angela Carter. Second is Canadian writer Marian Engel and Judy Merrill, who moved from the US to Canada. And it's also dedicated to her husband, Graham. After I finished reading this book, I watched a couple of interviews with Atwood where she talks about this book. And I will leave a link to the interviews in the description box below. In one of the interviews, she talks about the epigraphs at the beginning of the book. There are 3 of them. And Atwood always chooses her epigraphs carefully. And in one of the interviews, she talks about how they set the tone for what lies ahead. So the first epigraph is by Ovid, and it talks about love objects, which definitely does make sense with this story. And second is from an article that Atwood found on the internet called I Had Sex with Furniture. And in the novel, no one has sex with furniture. But they do make possibilibots, which are these sex robots or sex bots. And then the third epigraph is from William Shakespeare from A Midsummer Night's Dream, which is about 2 couples who get mixed up with each other. And this does happen in this novel. The story is told from alternating perspectives from the 2 main characters. So Charmaine and Stan, they had jobs and a house and they were doing very well, but when the recession hit, their money started running out, and when they wanted to sell their house, there was no one really left who could afford to buy their house now. So they are living in their car when the novel starts, and they have lost their house and Stan has lost his job. And their car is really the only thing that keeps them safe from like robberies and rapes and things like that. And they also have to be prepared to leave at a moment's notice, so being in the car is helpful. However, their money is running out, and so they won't be able to buy gas or food. So we meet Connor, who is Stan's younger brother, and he's willing to help them out, but Connor is aptly named because he's really a con man, and the money that he gives Stan isn't going to last long, and even though he offers Stan a job, Stan doesn't want that job because he thinks it's beneath him and he doesn't want to get wrapped up in Connor's life. So besides Charmaine and Stan, there is also Sandy and Veronica, and they are prostitutes who frequent the bar where Charmaine works. And one day Charmaine sees an advertisement for Positron. So jobs are being created by a for-profit prison system. And if you sign a contract with Positron, it's for life. And the ad shows, the houses that you would live in, and it's clean, and there's good food and comfy beds, and it promises a lot, and it talks about accentuating the positive. Which for Charmaine, this is a real draw for her because her character is very positive, and she's always trying to see, things in a positive light, and she and Stan decide to go check out Positron, and Veronica and Sandy go as well. And the deal with Positron is that you work a month in the prison, and then you live a month in the house given to you as a citizen. So the prisons aren't, what we would imagine prisons to be. They have been elevated, and they are really workplaces. So they are in the process of getting rid of the actual prisoners that were imprisoned. The prisoners begin to kind of disappear very mysteriously, and everything seems so much better than their current situation. Connor is the only one who tries to warn Stan not to go, but Charmaine and Stan sign up. And at first this all works out very well. Stan does wonder a lot about what's going on with Charmaine and, what it is that she does. And she works in the medical area while Stan is in the tech area. And while Charmaine and Stan are working, their alternates live in the house. Now, they're not supposed to communicate with their alternates. They're not supposed to know who they are, but something happens that they find out that their alternates are Max and Jasmine. And Charmaine starts an affair with Max, and Stan becomes obsessed with who Jasmine is. And eventually things begin to unravel. So the truth of what is really happening at Positron comes to light. Some people are not who they seem to be, and there may be a way out, but it's really risky. So at one point, Charmaine gets punished and she has to stay at Positron and isn't allowed to go to the house. And this is where it is very hard to tell you more without giving spoilers, which I really try not to do. So I will just say that Charmaine gets tested and Stan has to become a gay Las Vegas Elvis robot. Charmaine and Stan may never see each other again, and there are some really good twists right up until the end. I really liked this novel. I found it more believable and engaging than the Mad Adam trilogy. It might even be in my top 10 Atwood novels. Some of the stronger themes in this novel are marketing and advertising and how it influences us. The prison system, which actually isn't a new theme for Atwood because it's in Alias Grace as well, but she comes at it from a very different perspective here. The theme of technology is huge, and from that, how technology can impact us emotionally and disconnect us from each other. There is also the themes of sex and sexuality, greed and loyalty. And a couple of weeks ago, I talked about Atwood's nonfiction book about science fiction. And The Heart Goes Last does have all of the elements that she talks about in that book. So there is the odd sense of humor, sexuality, and even the clothing. The cover of the other editions of this book, I'll put it up. I actually like it better. They show the orange jumpsuits that the people wear while they're at Positron, and even though they aren't supposed to be, the real prisoners, they look like prisoners in these suits to me. So I think that this is a novel that I will think about for a while yet. And as I mentioned, I will put links to 2 interviews that Atwood did about this novel. One interview, I guess. It's from Q on CBC, and then the other is a talk that she gave in Philadelphia. And both are worth watching. And she also talks about the future library in both of these. And I will leave a link to that as well. The future library is in Norway, where trees have been planted. They will grow for 100 years until 2114. And each year an author is asked to write something to add to the project. Margaret Atwood was the first one to do so, and it will be opened in 2114 as well. So it's a really interesting project, which, I won't be around to see when they open it, but I'm glad that I know about it, and I just think it'll be a really neat thing to see what happens. So please let me know if you have read The Heart Goes Last. Let me know your thoughts on it. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure.